Recording. Hello and welcome back to Titanic Greed. I'm your host, Reed Stradling, and I have here with me George. George, what's up?
Yo, what's up? I'm George. I'm the co-host of the Titanic Greed podcast.
This week,
How's everybody doing today? All right, let's get rolling.
this week, it's been a little more chill. Modern's been a little more chill since the RCs. We just had the holidays. Haven't been, recording or playing too much, but we just thought we'd hop on and get a good episode recorded. So yeah, we were thinking about starting just talking on a couple of decks that have sort of been meteorically rising in the meta. The first of those decks being Ruby Storm. So, and George actually is a Ruby Storm player. So, George, what makes you think why is Ruby Storm increasing in the meta so much right now?
I think Ruby Storm is really appealing in this meta right now because it's pretty good against the other combo decks. Like against Titan, it's just faster than Titan, and it plays pretty well into, I would say, Belcher as well. That's kind of not as popular nowadays. It plays well into Jeskai Blink, which is important because that's a very popular deck. And yeah, Ruby's resilient. It's surprisingly resilient and has very fast wins sometimes. So great deck.
It's with the statistics that show up in some of my Discord servers. One of them has Ruby Storm at a 54% win rate, while Amulet's sitting down at 49.5
Is Ruby the new Nadu?
percent win rate. So the only other deck that really comes close, actually nothing comes close right now. Ruby is like 3 percentage points above every other meta deck at the moment, and has 10 slots, 10 top 8 slots in the last week. We also have data on that. So Force Energy
Yeah,
took
so
13
Ruby,
slots, Ruby took 10, Eldrazi Tron took 9, Affinity took 7, etc., etc. Titan only at 5, so only 5 people top 8'd.
yikes. And one of them definitely was Reed, who won a challenge yesterday.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in a sec.
We will talk more about that in a second. But yeah, Ruby Storm, what do we do about this deck that's taking a monopoly on challenge top eights and really dominating?
So yeah,
What?
I've discussed this with Disco or Discoto 2 on Discord a bit. Uh, he comes to me. He's like, "All right, we need some way to beat this deck." I think the answer is, I think he was saying, what's that one in a white card that?
Dryad Militant.
No, not that.
Or
The
oh, one to white. Dranith Magistrate.
Yeah, Dranith Magistrate. He
That's
said,
my thought too, but it's not Giaziable, so is it good enough?
uh, that was my thought that it was not good enough. All right, let me just make sure really quick. Blah blah blah. Oh no, he was saying Archon of Emeria. Okay, I think 3 mana little much, but it's an option. Uh,
Yeah, Trinisphere is another card that you can play there. Although that one kind of hurts some of our own lines more than Archon would. Kind
the
of.
and with Trinisphere, it's like you're trying to get something down on turn 2, right? Against Ruby Storm because they're often either comboing you on their 2 or their 3. Um, Trinisphere, you could get down on turn 2. It's like a reasonable thing to happen, but you need either an amulet or a grazer, as well as your lands to cooperate with you. Which I mean, it's pretty reasonable to do, but is not
Yeah, it
always
still
going to
might
work.
not work every time.
Yeah. And the other thing about Trinisphere is you only have as many copies as you put in your sideboard, so you'd have to dedicate like 2 slots to Trinisphere, and then it's not even guaranteed that you're going to see them, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
like we played 2 to 3 Trinisphere a while back to try and deal with Storm and Prowess, and they were moderately effective, like when you drew them, but sometimes they were really awkward and didn't really do what we needed them to.
So it's a reasonable option, but the fact that it's 3 mana is rough. There is a 2 mana artifact option, which actually Nathan of the Guilt Leaf played in one of his deck lists. Damping Sphere. The Damping Sphere is pretty rough against our own deck at the
Yeah,
same time,
classic hate piece against Titan.
but it kind of shows how important that distinction is between 3 and 2 mana. That someone like Nathan would play, such a worse card just because it's 1 mana cheaper. No. Um, and then what I find to be the best option against Ruby, or this is theoretical, I have to say, because I've never actually resolved the card. I've never had it hit the battlefield against Ruby Storm. So this is my theory for something that might be useful. Is Dryad Militant, which is GSEable. It exiles their instants and sorceries as they're going to the yard and they're casting them. And I mean, I don't know. Ruby has
As a
ways to
Ruby
win.
player, I
Yeah.
would just like to say that that is probably not a good answer to Ruby.
Um. How? What are the lines for the Ruby player to win with it on the battlefield? Um.
So the lines to win, a lot of the time, I don't even need my graveyard. I mean, most of the time, like it is the militant does have some times where it's very effective against past in flames hands. But if the Ruby player gets like a full turn to go off, like untaps with 3 lands and then gets to play some rituals and flip a Ral or something, that's when you're not gonna like the militant. But sometimes it's tight with mana and they are past inflamesing, so that's something.
That's my thought as well. Is it's something against the hands where maybe they don't have Ral or they're trying to piece together something with Ruby. And if they do have Ral, maybe they don't hit the wish or something. They hit like a Past in Flames, or they don't hit the Grave
Yeah.
Shot. I mean, it's asking a lot, especially considering they might have the removal for it. But to be
Yeah, they
fair,
do put prismatic endings into Titan, I would think, for amulets.
they're not targeting the amulet with that prismatic.
Yeah, that is true, but we also have to use in our card to get the militant out.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas we could GSC for some sort of one that might be more useful, like a grazer, and we just try and go for our own win instead of taking a tempo loss playing the militant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep testing the card, but I'm not 100% on it. Well, I'm not even like 70% on it, but I need something, Like Ruby's just going crazy at the moment, and I have no good answers. The other good thing about it is, you have 4 to 5 copies in your deck with the GSC. Um, it's just a little piece that you can toss in your sideboard. Because slots aren't tight right now. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ruby.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't have anything else on Ruby if we want to move on.
yeah. So the other deck that's getting pretty popular, very highly played at the moment is Boros. Um, which was always the most popular in the past, but there was a period of about a month and a half where it wasn't seeing much play. But now it's back in full force. And you're also a Boros player, so
Yeah, I play some Boros energy as well. I like to play a variety of decks so I can understand Modern really well. And yeah, Boros, the main change that they've made to deck lists is playing 2 Blood Moon main instead of like an extra Fable of the Mirror Breaker or third Voice of Victory. And that's made it harder for the Titan like game 1 matchup.
do you think it's just a game one matchup that's the problem? Because I feel like people are always running moons. Why does it feel different now? Like I'm looking at stats right now. For the last week against Titan, let me find it. We are. Oh well. In another graph, I saw that we were like 48% against Boris or something. But it looks like this week we're doing a little better at 56. But still not, what it used to be. We used to be like 70. We used to just always win. every
Yeah,
time.
we used to love getting paired into Boros.
I don't know. I think if you're still playing Boros nowadays, you're probably just really good at the deck. Um,
Yeah, Boros, it's just that consistency that is really appealing. Like you're always going to be able to play a clock out there and play some very strong interaction, and your sideboard is excellent.
mhm. I lose games where my opponent can piece together like a Johnny bombardment faster than I can do anything. Of course, they'll need hate to back that up, like, you know,
Yeah, it's Raven Charm or
some
something on a
removal.
saga that's about to go up to 3.
Are they still playing Static Prison at all? They're just not playing that, right?
Static Prison has mostly fallen out of deck lists. It's maybe a one of nowadays.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so don't be that afraid of Static Prisons
Oh,
because they're probably not there.
so we're game one. We should just play the amulet out like right away, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no need for sandbagging because they have nothing that
No
removes it.
downsides. We used
Wow,
to have to think about that, but with Amped Raptor gone, it's yeah, fair game now.
is it even really Boros energy anymore? It's like the only energy cards are Galvanic and Guide of
Boros mid
Souls.
range with a little splash of energy.
Oh, that's funny. Um, so I found success against this deck by playing Insidious Fungus. Um, it's just really strong at blocking. You know, Ocelot Pride. Uh, its floor is not that low. You know, being able to cast a 1 mana overcosted Explorer is pretty nice. Like, I don't mind that
I've
aspect of
used
it
that
at
mode
all.
before to win a game against Affinity, so yeah, it's very versatile.
If you're somebody that enjoys playing six against Boros, you also have the option to um, always have access to the fungus. Like they discharge it so that they can land their moon. You replay it with your six. I don't like bringing in six against this matchup, but I know some people do.
Yeah, if you want to see a really beautiful game where Fungus gets recast by 6, you can watch Nathan Goldberg take down the regional championship.
It's a really good one.
It's a great game. Yeah, I feel like turning more of your deck into Blood Moon answers is a great way to like hedge against Boros, like that Fungus with the GSZs. Since Boros is not gonna be able to stop us when we have like a functional draw unless they have a Blood Moon or a really good Thraben Charm. So having those answers is like really important to me. That's what wins those matchups a lot of the time. Or pyroclasms that hit 3 creatures or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I've been I've been really enjoying my Badgermole Cubs. So I played 2 to 3 Badgermole Cubs recently in pretty much all my lists, and every result I put up. And I feel like they've been so useful against the Boros Energy matchup. So much so even that sometimes I'll cut a grazer to bring in my sideboard stuff because I would rather have the copies of Badgermole Cub in the matchup because I just need something to cut, and it ends up being one grazer sometimes actually. Since I have the extra blockers in Badgermole, it produces green against opposing Blood Moons. I don't know. It like obviously if they guide fly something, you feel a little silly, but at its worst, it's just giving you +1 green and 2 blockers. And
Yeah, didn't you like fight through a blood moon the other day by tapping your land to besage you something?
yeah, yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that just it just comes up really nicely against Boros. So if you're in a Boros heavy meta, I feel like Malevolent Rumble is a little clunky against Boros, is what I found. Explore is a little too airy against Boros, and Badgermole Cub is just I think it's where it shines the most is against Boros, and that's a
Yeah.
big
Do you
reason
think
why I'm
that
liking the
Badger Mole
card.
Cub has like some bad matchups out of Titan?
Um, that's an interesting question. I think it's not such a matchup dependent card and more of a deck construction dependent card. Um,
I think I get what you're saying there.
so like if you have slots where you need to bring in more stuff, and the Badgermoles really aren't like uh too important in the situation. Like say against Control, something like that. Badgermole is like it's not amazing, but if you're playing against Control, you would still get the two creatures on the board, which is a little bit of pressure. You get the extra mana. It's like a guaranteed +1 green for the rest of the game that potentially makes your Lotus Field draws better, like much better. Drawing Lotus Field when you have a Badgermole out is so good. Or making your Urza Sagas on the battlefield better, or making your Scape Shifts better. Like those are the three big things that Badgermole makes better.
Yeah, I like how Badgermole synergizes with Lotus Field. That's one of my favorite ways to use it, like that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Where I think I don't like it as much is against opposing green decks. So stuff like Neoform, Tron, uh, Ramp, stuff like that. Like it's just not as useful. It's a little clunky there. I guess this is a big important topic of the show, and maybe I should discuss it more since I've been putting up results. I'll quick talk about. So I actually won a challenge this week, with an interesting list. I'll pull it up really quick.
It's definitely a list that you wouldn't really expect.
Yeah, yeah. So first off,
It's almost like a testing league list.
yeah, that kind of is what it was. Was just sort of more of
Yeah.
a test list. Um, so I'm pretty well known for like playing stock up in my Titan list. I'll play it main pretty often or in the side. Um, I looked over the meta and I'm like, I'm just not seeing that many slow decks at the moment. Stuff like Jeskai Blink, Esper Blink, all that control. I'm just not seeing that much of it, and I think stock up is good in those matchups. So if there's not that much, I'm just gonna get rid of it, and we're gonna tech for Boros instead. So we just put Pyroclasm in. It seems like a big change to the deck list. It's not the most important thing. There are other things here in the deck list that are a lot more important, and that make much bigger changes. I was playing 3 Badgermoles before and putting up insane results with that. I think I had some crazy run where I went like 19-1 in a league. I got third in a challenge. I was feeling pretty good. Um, but I decided I could probably trim on a Badgermole, and that Scape Shift was really good right now. So I added a 4th Scape Shift, because I figured I needed to be able to beat all the combo decks that are out there. There's not much that punishes Scape Shift at the moment. Like people just aren't playing that way. Uh, and I also trimmed on a Green Sun, so there aren't 4 of them. It's just a little slower, and I don't feel like I need all 4. Not much else in the sideboard's too relevant. Hex Drinker was like, if I run into a control style matchup, I'll have a GSC target for those. It's not like some big revelation or anything.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, that one YouTube video, people really like Hex Drinkers, so you better keep playing it.
yeah, people like Hex Drinker. I love Hex Drinker.
It's really fun card. Protection from everything. Only 2 cards got that.
Um, yeah, only 2. I added a Vexing Bauble. I was down to 1 for a while, but I saw a bunch of Goryo's lists right before this challenge, and I was like worried about facing Goryo's. I didn't see any, but the Bauble's good there, and it's good into like Simic. So I figured I'd just play a couple copies of that. Yeah, and sideboard slots are just not tight right now. You can sort of play whatever you want as long as you have a good main board and you have some sort of plan about what you're gonna do.
Yeah, like right now, play your Elder Gargarots, play a couple stock up sideboard, test out GSZ targets like Dryad Militant, what's the Keen-Eyed Curator,
Mm-hmm.
Gaddock Teague even. Have fun with it.
Yeah, I feel like Keen-Eyed wouldn't be too bad in this meta, actually.
Yeah, it has potential.
So my matchups were Neobrand, which I lost the first game and then won the rest. Uh, it was pretty nuts. I put in the I put in the second vexing bubble, and I drew both of them on both my post board games. So pretty good.
That's beautiful.
Jeskai just clean sweep. It's pretty quick. I lost to Eldrazi Ramp, which was my only loss the whole tournament. My opponent, I think it was mostly just I mulled a 5 or 4 a couple times, and I just can't win on no gas, but Titan will do that to you sometimes. Affinity, no notes, easy wins. Ruby Storm got scary for a bit. They had some crazy line, but I had Cave for Bog and Odawara available to me, so life was good. Eldrazi Tron, pretty
Bye.
pretty straightforward. And then yeah, I'm in the top 8, and I'm like, all right, sweet. And then I face Eldrazi Ramp again. This time the deck functions well, everything goes smoothly. One thing I was actually trying to consider in the Tron and Ramp matchups was whether I wanted Hex Drinker in. Uh, because they don't have a ton of ways to deal with it. I found out that they sort of do with Devourer and Ugin, which I forgot about, but it's fine. And
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Hex Drinker in that matchup. Just win faster.
yeah, you have to worry about Emrakul. Like they have a hard stop turn 5 Emrakul where they can just kill you, so you need to be able to kill them before that turn 5. Or 4 sometimes even, but that's rare.
That is true.
And then another Eldrazi ramp.
Yep.
I wish I could remember more. And then the finals was against Boros,
Yeah,
which was honestly one of the more exciting matchups of the day. Super tense. Oh,
it was crazy.
actually, I think Jeskai was one of the most exciting matchups. They found all 4 of their Solitudes in the top, 20 cards of their deck. All 4 of them. Solitude, pretty much all my Titans. I have 0 copies of Titan that aren't in exile. But before they exiled it, I was able to shifting Woodland a copy, then mirror pool that copy, and use that on, I think, either 0 or 1 amulets. Very mana restrictive, but I managed to copy it once and then make a bunch of constructs to pull off a sneaky win at 1 minute on the clock. Because I mean, Solitude that is the clock extender every time. You have to think through these super
It
complicated
eats
lines.
away at that clock.
Yeah. So fun challenge. I had a good time. It was the last challenge of the year, and really fun stream. It's up on my Twitch. I have my VODs available if you want to watch it. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, it was a super fun challenge run to watch. The semifinals against E-Ramp was a really good one. So I think you took game 1, then lost game 2, and then game 3 was kind of sketchy, and we pulled it off with a scape shift draw. Was that right?
Yeah, we top deck scape
Yeah,
shift.
drew scape shift when things might have took a turn for the worse the next turn opponent got. So
Yeah, there were some really
pretty fun.
sketchy moments
There were. It
where
takes some
we got
luck to
bailed
win
out.
these things.
Yeah,
Not that Reed didn't play great throughout the day, but
we played to our
yeah.
outs. We made sure we were playing to win and not to not lose.
Yeah, there were a few moments where we could have chose to Boseiju somebody's thing and slow them down, or save our Boseiju for our land drop to scape shift on more lands. And we were like, we have to go for the win.
Yeah, we have to make progress.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say something I can't remember. Oh, I played 4 forests and cut 1 bounce land. So I was playing 6 bounce lands, 4 forests. If you're playing lots of low curve stuff like Badgermole, I recommend it. Honestly, just in general, I feel like 6 bounces is pretty fine, especially if you're playing Rumble. The only time I think maybe you want 7 bounces is if you're running Explorers. then it would make a little more sense to play 7.
Yeah, either explorers or you're kind of stuck in the past and running a bunch of Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Yeah, yeah.
No offense to my Dryad people, it's just it might be a little outdated.
Elysian Grove and Explorer are pretty good friends with Bounce Land, so maybe I want 7 there. But
They
if you're
are.
on other stuff, I recommend just the 4 forests stuff that's green, you know? Do
Yep.
you want to talk about standard a bit?
Oh yeah, let's yap about standard a little bit. Standard is it's the season right now to play standard. There's a broken Is It Lessons deck that Reed and I will probably both play in Portland. And yeah, format is I don't know. It's not the most interesting format right now just because there's a few top dogs, but there's a recent brew that Reed's been playing that he can tell you about that's making waves.
Yeah, it's this Young Dingo list, which is Teamer colors. It's basically just the Simic Ouroboros deck, but with more dorks and a Craterhoof Behemoth, 4 copies of Nature's Rhythm, uh, and it's using all these dorks just to sort of pump out Ouroboros Craterhoof. It's playing 3 Spider Sense in the main, which have actually been really good. Floodmaw, so I sort of changed my list around. I put 3 Floodmaws in the main, cut 1 Spider Sense, cut a Great Divide Guide, and cut a Forest, because I felt like I could play less lands with how many dorks we were playing. Um, it did pretty well for a couple rounds, but sort of puttered out. But I've been enjoying the list. I mean, I only played it today, so I've mostly been a lessons gamer, trying to figure out how to make the best list for that because it's so strong. Um,
Yeah, Reed, do you think someone could build a broken lessons list right now, or do you think we've pretty much figured it out?
that's also an interesting question. So I've been grinding lessons for pretty much the whole Christmas break because I didn't have my computer with me, so I just had my phone and I was playing a bunch of arena, um, which is not the best practice, I'll admit, but I think you can take this a few different ways. So you can either go with the very dedicated lessons approach. So you play 4 basics, you play a bunch of demonstrations, it'll quench you, do the 4 monument, 4 talent thing, um, and don't splash anything. I think I like this approach the most because I like having very linear deck lists that are all in on themselves, that just want to pull off their own plan. There are other lists that play like Rao, like a copy of Rao in the main board, which is a nice sort of hedge against control style decks. There are lists that play Riddlers in the main, that play like random spells like Annul, other stuff that sort of go off. And then the big recent uptick has been Teamer lessons, actually, which is basically only splashing for what is it, Origin
The
Metal Bending.
origin of metal bending.
See if I can find a list.
Yeah, origins of metal bending. Very good in lesson mirrors where there's the artist talents and monuments.
Yeah, so Teamer lessons. So a lot less deck lists for Teamer lessons. Um, there are a lot of targets for Origin and Metal Bending in the format, and the secondary ability of giving your creature protection can be pretty useful, especially in post-board games. Like, there's just so many artifacts and enchantments that you need to deal with. I do think it's good. I don't think it's good enough yet. Maybe I'll be convinced otherwise that I need to be playing Teamer, but at the moment I'm enjoying Is It only. Um, but I did think it was pretty reasonable to be playing the Origins of Metal Bending because they're really good and they're lessons.
Yeah, it's tempting for sure. I like the linear nature of Is It though.
The other thing I've been going back and
Um,
forth on is this Row, like how many Rows to play. Um,
yeah.
It's good. Uh, in the all-in plan, if you're like an all-in deck list, I think it's a little weaker because your style of gameplay is very focused. Um, and Ral is better in a sort of grindy style list, which
Yeah, Rao might not shine as much against like a red aggro deck or something.
mhm. And yeah, that's what I've been playing in standard.
Yeah, do you think that Rao is better than Quantum Riddler in the sideboard as a grindy piece?
So that's the interesting thing is they're pretty much they fill the same role. Um, I think I want to have one copy of Riddler somewhere in your 75. I think that's really important. Just if you run out of cards and you have a Ral as your last card, that's really strong. I really don't love Ral that much though. Or sorry, Riddler. Was I saying Ral this whole time? I meant Riddler.
Yeah.
You need to have one copy of Riddler somewhere. um, I guess it depends on your build. I think Riddler is better, but my mind could be changed. Like,
Yeah, I think Riddler looks really good, and I'll probably play 2 in my sideboard myself, but I could be convinced about Rao.
so, yep. And otherwise, I've seen a lot of Reanimator on the ladder. I've seen a lot of this new Landfall deck. Landfall's been really popular.
That
And
one's been strong. It's been like popping up in challenge top 8s. I think it won one recently
hmm,
or 2.
here's my thoughts. I was debating which was the best deck and which I wanted to play, whether it was Landfall or Lessons, because Landfall is putting up an insane amount of results. I think Landfall is the more powerful deck. However, it is not as consistent as Lessons. Um, Essentially, you can flood out or draw really badly because you have such bad card selection in your Landfall decks, as opposed to Lessons, which has insanely good card selection and rewards skilled gameplay pretty heavily. Not to say that Landfall doesn't. It's just there are some games you can't control with Landfall, which I really dislike.
Yeah,
And
I think Lessons like gives more opportunities to benefit skill.
yes, yeah, I
I
agree.
agree with that.
So, um, I think Lessons is the type of deck you need to play quite a few reps on to get good at. Um, just to get that intuition. It's the type like Titan, you need to
Yeah.
know its ins and outs really well.
Like Titan's the type of deck where like some people might like do some defensive mechanism, like use their GSZ to go grab a grazer because they're scared of dying. And like experienced Titan players might know like I need to keep that card to win the game later. And I need to play to my outs. Like that's the type of thing with lessons. Like sometimes you play a monument of endurance into pressure just because you know you're gonna have a big turn later.
Yeah. So Xana's been really fun. Um, Modern also. I love playing Modern. I'll do like standard leagues and then be like, I need to play some Modern right now. Just relax.
Yeah.
Take the edge off.
Standard feels more like work, modern is the play.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll both be playing in RC Portland coming up. So if you see us there, be sure to say hi. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we would love to meet some of y'all in Portland. Maybe take a Titan picture. I know Reed
exactly.
likes to do that.
Yeah, we gotta take the Titan picture. I've never actually gotten it to happen, but
Really?
it's hard to
We
do like
I'm
the
gonna try and help
contact.
you make it happen this time.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Do something like that.
Yeah, this is also, like, my first RC, so I'm excited to meet some of y'all.
It'll be good. All right, that's all I've got for the episode. We'll wrap it up here
Yeah,
and
let's wrap it up.
see you
Do a few
guys in the
plugs.
next one. Stay greedy.
Stay greedy and follow ReedQ7 on Twitch and subscribe to the YouTube.
Peace.
Also use your Prime sub on ReedQ7.